And still to come today.
Welcome back. In just a moment we'll be chatting to our panel about today's stories, but still to come, survivor of the Cork plane crash, Donal Walsh, will be speaking exclusively to The Daily Show about the day that changed his life forever.
But first though, we were all shocked and saddened when we heard about Ireland's worst air disaster in which a plane crashed in Cork Airport, killing 6 people.
Miraculously, 6 people survived, and we'll be talking exclusively to one of them in just a moment. But first, here's a reminder of that day back in February of this year.
Manx Airlines flight FLT 400C crashed as it made its third attempt to land from a southern approach on Cork Airport's main runway 17 just after 9:45 this morning. Weather conditions at the time were poor, with the airport and runway enveloped in a dense fog. The 19-seater Metroliner had 10 passengers and 2 crew on board. The 6 who died are believed to have been killed in the collision. Miraculously, 2 people walked from the wreckage. 4 others...
Well, one of the survivors of the plane crash, Donal Walsh from Waterford, joins us now. Donal, looking at those pictures, it is really hard to believe that you managed to get away and get away so well. Will you take us back to that day? Where were you going? What was your plan?
The plan was to be in Cork for that morning. So the flight was about 8 o'clock. So basically, just getting on the flight, handed over my bag to the pilot. They put our bags in the hold. I just took some reading material on the plane, my Bible and a small book I had, which is called Answers to Prayer, written by George Mueller. And then, well, basically the flight was fairly uneventful, like any normal trip. I was quite tired, but I didn't do much. I just did a bit of reading. I prayed for about half an hour, and then the rest of the trip was just basically, looking at the clouds and kind of just...
And then when did you sense that something had gone wrong?
Well, it was, like I said, it was like a normal flight for most of it. And then, you get to that point where you kind of sense, oh, we're going to begin to land now. So, the sound of the engine changes.
So it was all fairly normal up until then?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
The sound of the engine changes, and then we were beginning to descend into the clouds because we were above them at the start. And then we stopped that process and we actually came up out of the clouds. So I just thought that was slightly weird. And then about 10 minutes later, the exact same process happened, changed the engines, descent, and then ascent again, which was just quite strange. And then I was quite worried, what's going on here? Something must be up. But then the pilot came out, like it's quite a small plane, as you can probably see. Yeah. So he just said to us, we tried to land twice, but that failed, so we're going to do a bit of a loop around and then try to get down when it's all right. So, it's like there was no atmosphere of panic. There was no one saying, oh no, what's going to happen? And there was no one running up and down.
Everybody was fairly calm at that stage.
Oh yeah, and I would have been slightly nervous, but that's just my character, I think. Yeah. But then, even I was like, just put it to the back of your mind. The pilot knows what he's doing. Yeah. So he just kind of kept calm for that period, so yeah.
And then, having done the loop then, another attempt at landing was made?
Yeah. So same process again, changing the engine, and then kind of the descent again. Now, what we noticed the last 2 times was that it was very foggy. It was foggy in Belfast, but it was obviously foggy in Cork that morning.
And do you remember the moment of impact, Donal?
Yeah. It was basically we were going down fast, right through the fog, and then suddenly on my left, I was actually on the right side of the plane, I just glimpsed some land, and it was just like, we're going too fast, and
the land is too close to me.
Yeah. And it was just, at that moment, we're like, I didn't know what was going to happen, and then suddenly there was a sudden veer to the right and kind of up, and we hit basically the land. That's what happened.
So the plane hit the ground. What was going through your head? Did you just blank out, or?
No, I was conscious throughout for it. What I did when I heard that, when I felt that sudden veer was like something's gone wrong. It was just too evasive, let's say, a maneuver to be kind of just normal. Yeah. So I basically did that, which is the normal recovery kind of position for, when something goes wrong in a plane, and just thought, and you just wait basically. I mean, I thought it was the end basically.
When did you realise that what was after happening had happened?
When there was a huge thud.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just a very loud bang. I think people who were witnesses of the crash could testify to that as well.
And you were fully conscious, fully aware right the way through.
Yeah.
So when it came to settle then, did you make an attempt to get out yourself?
When it settled, well, I was upside down at the time, but I was in a seatbelt, so that saved me. I tried to, yeah, because when I got out, and there was light at the back of the plane, so I was the only one who could actually see what was happening. All the front was darkness, it was mud, and all the lights were hit out. All we could get was light from the back windows. So I looked out at the plane. I didn't know where we were exactly. I thought it could have been a field or somewhere, and I saw at the edge of the plane it was on fire. Just a small fire.
This can't be good, you were saying to yourself.
Yeah, no, it was. I knew we were trapped. We had to get out at that stage, otherwise the flames would engulf us all.
So the news of the plane crash got out fairly fast. Did your parents think that you'd made it through, or did your family think?
Well, they didn't exactly know I was on that particular flight. They knew I was flying that day.
Yeah.
So the news, the way it got out eventually was when the fire services came and got us out very shortly after that, after the crash. I actually got a text from my supervisor at Boslek, and he asked me, did I want to play a game of soccer later? So I said no, anyway, just to clarify. But yeah, basically, he got the news out because I just told him to tell everyone. Yeah.
You've met the families of some of those who weren't as fortunate as you, some of those who died in that plane crash. Was that a difficult experience for you?
Yeah, I didn't know. It's completely new. Situation. I've never dealt with such a profound tragedy in my life. And you're just kind of lost for words. And it's very surreal at the same time because I came out of the crash with scratches. That was the worst of it. And others just, they died instantly.
Because you hear about survivor guilt, that you carry that with you. Did you have any sense of that?
I did. There was at times, yeah. I think so. But I think, I just prayed a lot about it. I think just thinking about it and getting perspective on it, God, has a plan in it. And I don't think anything happens for no reason. I think, if God would want me here, then I've no right to feel guilty for it. But, yeah.
So you carry a Bible with you and you pray a lot. Do you believe those prayers have helped you through that incident?
Yeah, I think I've learned, it's sometimes a sense of I know everything about this, but honestly, I've learned so much even through this, and God has grown me so much through this. This incident, just even so much about how gracious He is towards me. I remember reading, even briefly in the Bible, after one of the funerals and just thinking, what do I do? How do I deal with this? And, there was just this part in it was just where God was talking to Israelites, and He says he carried them through the desert like a man carries his son, basically. And it's all about God's grace and His relationship to us. I think there's this attitude sometimes of, God helps those who help themselves, but it's all about God helping us.
And what about, just finally, we were talking before we started the interview about you getting back on a plane again, a very difficult thing to do. Are you ready to face that, do you think?
I will be soon. I suppose I want to get back on a plane sometime again soon. Not yet, but just to go through
your own time when you're ready to do it yourself.
When you're ready.
I think it is a very safe way to travel. But obviously from this, I've been very kind of affected from it. So,
understandably so. Well, Donald, thank you very much. I know it was a difficult thing to do, to come in and talk about it, and you're very brave to do so. Thank you very much indeed.
You're welcome.
Well,